That's the way it's like. That's me falling asleep. That's the way it's like whenever I run into a game against a killer that's running this perk combination. It's awful. So if you don't know, in the most recent mid-chapter patch, they buffed a few bad perks that weren't really being used. And one of the perks that got buffed was Dead Man Switch. Now, if you don't know how Dead Man Switch works, it makes it so when you hook a survivor, Dead Man Switch activates for the next 45 seconds. The way that it used to work is Dead Man Switch would only activate for 45 seconds after you hooked the Obsession. I believe that's the way it used to work. So then, once you hook somebody, which could be any survivor in the match now, while activated, any survivor that stops repairing a generator before it is fully repaired causes the entity to block the generator until Dead Man Switch's effect ends. Affected generators are highlighted by a white aura. The white aura part really isn't important. Yeah, that's some information that it provides to the killer, but it's kind of just a bonus. I suppose it's good if you don't plan on running barbecue and chili. It's a nice informational perk that makes it so you don't really need to waste a perk slot on some other tracking perk. This can kind of work as your tracking perk. But the main part of it is the 45 seconds and the fact that it's no longer restricted to just one person. Now, even if you look at this perk just by itself, it's not that good. Like, what if this perk were to become meta by itself, it's not that great. It would basically mean that with a few exceptions like the artist or Freddy with, I think the class photo, the thing that makes it so it looks like he's teleporting to every gen when he goes for a teleport. With few exceptions, it's not that good because the spirit of the perk, pun intended, is that the killer is supposed to hook somebody, run to another gen, find a survivor working on it, and then initiate a chase with that survivor, and when the survivor gets off of it, it'll block the gen. So let's say it takes the killer 10 seconds to go find the next survivor. So that's roughly, 35 seconds, 40 seconds, however long, of blocking the gen, which isn't a huge deal, and in some cases could be advantageous if you're running it with Ruin or any other kind of regression perk, because no one's going to be working on that anyway, because the person who was working on it got chased off of it. But where this perk becomes problematic is when it's used in conjunction with Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. So the way Pain Resonance works, if you don't know, is at the start of the trial you get 4 random hooks that are special hooks, Scourge hooks, and you can see their auras in white. And anytime a survivor is hooked on a Scourge hook, the generator with the most progress explodes, instantly losing 15% progress, and will start to regress. Now that's not that good. That's really not that good. The busted part of this is survivors repairing the generator will scream, revealing their location. So when this happens, it forces survivors off of the generator. So you can see how that combos with Dead Man Switch. So anytime the killer hooks somebody on a Scourge hook when they're running Pain Resonance, it makes it so it kicks everyone off their gens and instantly activates Dead Man Switch for the full 45 seconds. That's an insane amount of value between these two perks. And that's value that could be applied to anybody. Like, normally, you'd think just running Dead Man Switch, that'd be pretty good on the artist, because the artist can throw crows at gens after they hook somebody and force everybody off gens. But Pain Resonance is really ridiculous because of how it forces everyone off gens as the second somebody gets hooked. So they're off for the next 45 seconds. So then if you have a killer who's pretty good at finishing chases, they could basically like block gens forever, because they could just keep chaining hooks. And let's say within that next 45 seconds, they find another survivor and hook them, and then it activates again and it blocks people from working on their gens. So it's a really ridiculous combination. And it reminds me a lot of the original Hex Ruin, where the counter to it at the time was tapping your generator. Because at the time, the way Hex Ruin used to work is that whenever a skill check would happen, hitting a great skill check would give you no progress, and hitting a good skill check would give negative progress. So to counter that, people would prevent skill checks from popping up by just tapping the gens. And I feel like we're going to see a similar thing here, where people are going to wait until, like let's say the killer's going to down somebody. There's 3 survivors working on gens. Killer picks the person up, and then everybody's going to wait until right when they see that animation where the killer's throwing somebody onto a hook, and then they got to let go of the gen. So then that way, pain resonance doesn't cause everybody to get kicked off their gens at the moment that Dead Man's Switch activates. So everybody's going to have to let go of their gens, let the hook happen, then get back on them, and then the killer could potentially kick you off, at least one person off the gen. But that's better than having everybody get kicked off their gens and have potentially 3 gens get blocked. So these 2 perks together, I think you're going to see a lot of at high ranks. I've already seen it just playing over the last few days since the mid-chapter patch came out. And I think it's really bad for the game to have a combination that's like that. That's like, oh, by the way, you know, just remember, the killer could have pain resonance and Dead Man Switch. So anytime he's about to hook somebody, make sure you let go of your gen. And the worst part is that letting go of your gen, if the killer's good at finishing chases, isn't even a counter, because let's say after he's hooked the first person in the match, he goes to hook the second, and you go to let go of your gen, and it's like, okay, well, I let go of my gen to stop pain resonance from kicking me off of it, but now I'm blocked from it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good. Like, I don't think it's very healthy for the game, and I think this is really busted. And I don't think it really matches the spirit of what Dead Man Switch is supposed to be, which is taking one person off of a gen by chasing them off of it and getting benefit from it, not just hooking them on a certain hook and then all of a sudden they get benefit across the map without having to do anything else. And I guarantee you that what happened here is that devs had no idea how Pain Resonance and Dead Man Switch actually interacted with one another. Like, it's clear they don't play the game on a very high level, so they probably had no clue that this was going to become a thing. And I hope it'll get nerfed at some point, because this is very quickly going to become a problem. And personally, I think this is the most busted thing killers have had since the original Undying perk. It was really, really powerful. So it's not particularly fun to play against, and I think this is going to become the new Ruin Undying that you see at high ranks with really sweaty killers using. And it's better than Ruin Undying, because Ruin Undying, you run the risk of people finding your totems and cleansing them right away and getting very little value out of those 2 perks. This cannot be cleansed. This is there the whole match, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, let me know what you think. What do you think about the Pain Resonance Dead Man Switch combo? Do you think it's OP? Do you think it's perfectly fine? Are you somebody who's going to run it? Are you someone who plays killer and runs these 2 perks but craps your pants at the sight of somebody running no mither? Hey, let me know in the comments. I want to know. I want to know your thoughts. And by the way, this is not like a killer versus survivor thing. I think there's many ways killers still need to be buffed. I think there's ways survivors need to be buffed. I think there's issues on both sides that need to be solved, and I hope they do get solved. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts, and thank you for watching.